Are you aware that you may have made a kind of devil's bargain with yourself? Hi, I'm Larry Valmore, and in today's video we're going to look at these bargains. I'm calling them a devil's bargain because of how much you have to give up in order to get something else. The agreement is structured like this. I'll give up something very vital to myself in order to receive something even more vital. It's almost as though either food or water is available. So you say, I'll give up food in order to have water. But you can't get both. Now, the kind of agreements that we're talking about here are not that severe, but they're pretty close. So I have a client that we'll call Jim for the purpose of the video. Jim is a successful businessman and has provided for himself and for his wife and 2 kids for at least 10 years, maybe 12 years, being self-employed. So he's very successful in that way. And Jim is prone to fits of rage from time to time. And of course, this frightens his wife, as you might well imagine. Recently, Jim almost broke his hand slamming it down on the countertop because he was so angry. Now, you've probably already guessed that his wife was used to being emotionally distant. Her family background primed her to be emotionally distant in general, even in the best of times. And she was especially distant whenever Jim was so angry. So she would shut down emotionally and figuratively run away. And of course, Jim got just even more pissed off when this was happening. So I was on the phone with Jim, and we were talking about this, and through a series of questions, we got to the place where I asked Jim, do you think you made some sort of agreement with yourself at a certain time in life in order to set up this pattern? So at first he was a little confused about the question, but as he began to think about it, he remembered a time when he was 10 years old. And it was a time of great difficulty at school. He was in conflict with his teachers, and things were not going well with his schoolmates, with his peers. And so he went to his mother searching for some TLC. Now, his mother made it very clear through her words and through her behavior that there were only 2 main kinds of emotion, pleasant emotion, that she would accept from Jim. He could either be happy or he could be sad, but he could not possibly be angry. That was just completely unacceptable. And Jim was able to recall that, yes, he made a kind of agreement with himself at that time, that either he could be angry or he could have the love and acceptance that he was so desiring. But he couldn't have both at the same time. So that was his agreement. He would give up anger, the natural expression of anger, in order to receive love and acceptance. And this agreement, of course, he forgot about it over, I don't know how long, but he forgot about it. And yet the agreement informed his life, or gave a pattern. It kind of controlled his life over the next 30 or so years. So he was able to make a new agreement. Now, I met Jim originally under another modality, and it's a lovely modality, and Jim loved it as well. And since I began working with Jim, just in the last few months, I asked him whether he was open to trying out this Sacred Abundance Blueprint. So he was, and so we've been using that. And he said it's quite remarkable. The amount of change that he's receiving is just amazing. So using the Sacred Abundance Blueprint, we helped Jim reframe this agreement to, in effect, obviate the old agreement and write a new agreement. And in this new agreement, he's allowed to be angry, and at the same time, he can receive love and acceptance. Now, he found such value in the work that we've been doing that he referred his wife. So I've been working with his wife as well. More about that in another video. And as we worked with his wife, she's become more emotionally present. She's felt the safety of being present even when Jim is angry. And although at the time I talked to him originally, Jim said our marriage is on the brink of collapse. They were really actively talking about divorce and thought probably this just was not going to work after all. And of course, this would have a huge impact not only on their own lives, but the lives of their 2 children as well. So of course, if there's a way to avoid this and make the relationship be really good again and rich and rewarding, then of course we want to do that if we can. Well, just last night I talked to Jim and he said that things are going beautifully. Yes, they have their moments, we all do, but the marriage is on solid footing again, and they're really able to interact in new ways that are more emotionally supportive and growthful, and all of the lovely things that you want out of a marital relationship. In fact, Jim said, this is a quote, last night he said, "If it weren't for the work that you've done with me and with my wife, by now I'm sure I would be divorced." And I just love that. I just love that. That's why I'm in the business I'm in. I just love seeing these transformations and helping people to come to new places of joy and effectiveness and happiness and all of that in their lives. That's all for now. If you like the video, click like. And if you don't like it, click dislike, but click something. And leave a comment so that other people can benefit. For Sacred Mind, I'm Larry Valmore. And remember, you're divine.